is absolutely nuts. I've never seen the ocean look red like this. It's crazy. It's almost like the glacier is bleeding.
Approaching the headwaters of the Sawyer Glacier, a strange phenomenon lurks beneath the surface.
It's so bizarre. We're floating in a sea of red. It's like we're on Mars or something.
The water runs an unsettling shade of red.
The contrast of the colors of the water is absolutely insane.
The scene is surreal. What's coloring this Alaskan fjord red?
Wow, it just seems to be leaching out of all of the icebergs. Was not expecting that.
Join us on an expedition to Alaska's Blood Glacier.
We're cruising along at 5 knots, just the gentlest little outflow breeze. We couldn't do this wing on wing. We've got a little bit of current assist and we're just flying along and it's so smooth, so quiet. We're just working our way out of Endicott Arm and it's beautiful.
You're joining us on a near perfect sail through Alaska's Tracy Arm Ford's Terror Wilderness. A breathtaking expanse of the Tongass National Forest, made up of steep fjords, towering cliffs, and dense temperate rainforest.
We are soaring along out of this inlet at 5 knots, a little bit of current assist. We've got icebergs around us, the turquoise and the spinnaker, and then this turquoise water. Gosh, beautiful.
We're currently making our way out of a deep glacial carved inlet known as Endicott Arm, one of 2 dramatic fjords in the area culminating with tidewater glaciers in their headwaters. Tracy Arm is our expedition this week, a 30 nautical mile journey through some of the most scenic landscape, with sheer rock walls rising thousands of feet from the sea, amazing wildlife at every turn, and at its head, a striking glacier sporting a very curious phenomenon.
We still have another glacier to see before we head back to civilization. So we're looking to drop the hook here in the next little bit. There's, I think, 3 anchorages that we can choose from. One we've already been to when we went up Endicott Arm. There is one between a set of islands that's pretty appealing at the moment because it's so settled and beautiful. And then there's the one that everyone goes to, which is the most popular in order to stage yourself for the Tracy Arm Glacier.
We'll probably go out to the island, see what the conditions are like out there, and if it's comfortable enough, we'll anchor there. And if not, we'll head into Tracy Arm where we can get a good start on tomorrow morning. Of course, it's quite a long way to go down to the Sawyer Glacier.
So the plan is to anchor up in Holcomb Bay at the intersection of these 2 scenic fjords in order to stage ourselves for our long venture up Tracy Arm in the morning. But with sailing, weather, and views this good, we were in no hurry to get anywhere.
It's beautiful and sunny, it's warm, glassy calm, absolute glass out. It's just absolutely beautiful. I think we could do this forever.
Yeah.
I would sail all day and night like this.
Japanese sheet.
Wow, we were just finished taking down our sail and we were coming through this shallow bar and we thought we would stop to fish because it's slack and there was an underwater ridge that we could maybe jig. And as soon as I put the lure in the water, two massive humpback whales surfaced right next to our boat. It's just incredible. They're so big and majestic and wow.
Okay, just frying up some shrimp. We got some rice and we got some fried up veggies because that's basically all we have left. We got like half a moldy lemon. And we also have a 2-spot prawn dinner. So we're gonna have 2 spot prawns, 1 spot prawn each actually, some shrimp and some rice and veggies.
Good morning. We are just waking up. It's around 6:30, so a little tired. Haven't had coffee yet. My eyes are still swollen. But yeah, it's a little bit rocky here this morning. I've got just some currenty things happening. I guess the anchorage is really shallow and the water is sort of rising up to meet it, and it's created quite a bumpy anchorage this morning, which wasn't the case last night. Anywho, that has shaken us out of bed and we are now hauling anchor and getting out of here. We do have a very long day today, so It's not a bad thing to get started really early, but I don't think either of us expected to wake up now. Morning.
I really didn't sleep at all last night, so I am very tired. A little bit grumpy and kind of really annoyed that I got woken up by the shitty swell. But let's go pick up our crab trap if it still exists out here and it hasn't floated away, and I guess we're going up Tracy Arm early today. Oh well, nice to be early start on the day.
We're just buzzing around looking for a crab trap, and then we thought we lost it. Maybe it floated away, we didn't put out enough line, but we see it actually back towards where we were anchored, so I think it has drifted a little bit. We probably didn't catch anything, but at least we found it. No. Second time's the charm. It's the coolest thing. Skunked. This day's off to a good start, isn't it? Woo!
Thank you. Wow, I can be a human again.
Nice.
Round two. Both of these are for me. It is a beautiful morning though this morning. We're never really up this early because we like to sleep in and stay up late. But there's a couple of humpbacks still feeding here from last night. Sumdong Glacier looks absolutely incredible. I have my coffee now so I can be back to a regular human being. Life is good. Crazy ebb currents though in here, really strong, and the shallows around the island really kick it up, and there's like standing waves and stuff. It's pretty crazy stuff.
So far, this adventure is off to a less than ideal start, and with the currents intensifying, we weren't sure if we were going to be able to make much headway.
Some crazy ebb currents around here. Tide's going out at the moment, and because it's so shallow around the island, it just kicks up really hard and fast. Had the boat basically at full throttle and we're only doing like a knot, which is really slow.
So we need to cross a shallow bar in order to get into Tracy Arm. Apart from the charts, you can tell exactly where the shallow bar is because all of the ice is grounded in the shallow water. Pretty strong currents through here. It's basically impassable except for one opening, which is marked by red and green buoys. So we are going to enter through those guys, dodge all these little bergy bits, buck this current, and head into that entrance. And then we'll be into Tracy Arm, heading towards glaciers.
Ideally, we would have timed our entry with slack turning to a flood in order to have currents running with us the entire way. But this morning, it seems, we've chosen to fight an uphill battle.
Well, we're certainly getting our exercise this morning. We are on the treadmill. We're just chugging away. We're making like maybe a knot, but we're slowly getting over the bar, very slowly. Maybe the bar will go slack by the time we actually get across. Maybe we'll be on the treadmill until slack. Who knows?
The currents heading into Tracy Arm are dynamic and complex, impacted by the tides, glacial meltwater, underwater topography, and its narrow geography. Because the inlet is narrow, its water movement is concentrated and often fast flowing, especially near its head where the Sawyer Glacier feeds into the fjord. Here at its entrance, tides play a major role with incoming flood tides pushing seawater into the fjord, while ebb currents flush meltwater and icebergs back towards the ocean. Currents are especially swift in shallow areas, so it's best to time your entry and exit with the tides. In other words, don't do what we've done.
It's crazy. Just absolutely insane amount of current. Yeah, lots of whirlpools, lots of boils, just crazy current stuff. Pushing the boat all over the place, left and right. It's crazy how it does that. It just kind of like shoots up off the shallow bar and then just drops back into the deep ocean, and the whirlpools just spin the water down. It's pretty nuts. We probably should have done this at Slack last night when we came out of Endicott Arm, so kind of kicking myself this morning for not being a better captain. Choosing a crappy anchorage, although it was beautiful with the orcas and the whales and the majestic sunsets. That was all neat and tidy, so that was good, but wasn't fantastic for resting and getting going this morning. So bad plan making on my behalf. Well, we made it across the bar. We're now doing like over 3 knots at full RPM, so definitely out of the most of the current, getting back into deeper water, our depth's dropping back down. So yeah, if I can do it in a Catalina 30 with 14 horsepower, you can probably do it anytime you want.
This is a very low effort breakfast by our standards, but we're pretty skimpy on provisions at the moment. So we've got some 3-grain bread. It's that packaged stuff that lasts for a really long time. Really dense in fiber. Tasty. Some home canned red pepper jelly and Havarti cheese. Yeah. Something to wet the whistle.
Looks delicious.
Yeah, I think it's pretty good. We're out of most of our fresh provisions, including eggs and beers, which is a little tragic. We're not really cereal people, so being low on eggs is interesting for us. So we just have to do this.
Continuing into Tracy Arm, the waterway narrowed and the cliffs steepened. Towering mountains loomed overhead, with glacial meltwater tumbling into the sea.
We're about halfway up the inlet now. Loving how dramatic these cliffs are, the color of the water, super turquoise. Seeing some more ice and things like that. Unfortunately, there's no wind to be able to sail. It would be an upwind battle anyways, which would make for a really long day. It's a very narrow inlet and it's a little bit twisty-turny, so there's new surprises around every corner, and it just keeps it interesting. It's beautiful. Bit chilly, bit overcast, but very beautiful.
keeping an eye out for ice and hand stitching. A bit of sail tie with spiky Velcro and soft Velcro so that I can install it on the mast and hang up my halyard to stop them from looking so messy on deck.
No, it's a bear. It's a baby black bear. Oh my god, he's cute. What's he doing up there? Just saw a wee little black bear on these steep granite cliffs. Really small. Seemed to be alone. I don't know if he just like took the wrong path or was trying to get down to the water or what, but I'm not sure. I'm not a bear expert, but yeah, just a wee little bear. Well, we just rounded a corner and we can see the glacier, which is pretty exciting. We've got a couple more bends in the inlet to go before we're up close and personal with it, but it looks absolutely amazing from here. Lots more ice to navigate around, so we're having to be a little bit more, what's the word?
Vigilant.
Vigilant, yes.
There is such a big mountain of ice ahead. It's absolutely incredible. The entire valley is just a blue wall as far as you can see.
So beautiful. The waterfalls, the valleys. There's so many valleys. It's just mind-blowing. And your mind just sort of gets to wondering, like, what's back there? What's in there? What amazing lakes and rivers. And it's just insane, the amount of wilderness out here.
Yeah.
We've got some big icebergs to navigate around from recent carvings of this glacier. There's massive chunks of ice, and it's a really narrow channel, but hopefully we can get close to this glacier within safe distance, because when these big pieces break off, it can create up to 25-foot standing waves. They dissipate pretty quickly, but you still got to keep about a half mile or more off from these actively carving glaciers. We're going to see how close we can get.
Carefully navigating the ice, continuing to push our way to the head, the water underwent a striking transformation.
The water is so brown here.
Yeah, this is absolutely nuts. I've never seen the ocean look red like this. It's crazy. It's almost like the glacier is leading. It's nuts. Maybe it's dying up there. I don't know, but wow, it just seems to be leaching out of all of the icebergs.
It's the only glacier we've been to that has this like chocolatey milk colored water as opposed to turquoise. Very interesting, but the rocks up ahead do look pretty red.
I guess we'll see what the color of the glacier is when we get around the corner more. not expecting that.
Yeah, it's so bizarre. We're floating in a sea of red. It's like we're on Mars or something.
So what causes this unexpected, eerie color of the water?
It has to be some sort of like iron or other mineral that's like cutting down with the ice.
The answer is an interesting glimpse into the raw chemistry of a dramatically changing landscape. The color is caused by iron oxidation, a natural process where iron-rich minerals in the rocks are exposed to oxygen and water, forming iron oxides like hematite or rust. The glacier grinds down bedrock, exposing fresh rock surfaces rich in iron. When meltwater flows over or through these rocks, it oxidizes the iron, turning it reddish. This iron-rich water then leaches into the ocean, staining it red. This phenomenon can be seen in other places around the world, the most famous being Blood Falls in Antarctica. The sight is both beautiful and unsettling. The good news is the iron is an important nutrient for healthy ocean ecosystems, vital for marine life like phytoplankton, a visual reminder of the forces constantly shaping our environment, turning the ordinary into something mysterious and extraordinary.
Here we are at the Sawyer Glacier, the end of Tracy Arm, and it is spectacular. The craziest color in the water here. It looks like we're on a floating marble.
It does. It does look exactly like a marble. And this glacier.
Oh, it's
Crazy to be able to get this close to it, get this insane view.
It's huge, and it's carving all the time. Little bits of ice are floating off. They're kicking up some pretty nice swells. It's pretty cool. The deep blue of the ice, insane. We didn't really see that at the other glaciers as much, but
And just most beautiful backdrop. Holy crap. So stoked to be here. This is the final glacier on our glacier tour before Juneau.
yes.
And before Glacier Bay.
The Southern Glacial Tour.
The Southern Glacier Tour. Oh. Oh, Jesus. Just floated into a little bergy bit and it actually took our paint off. There is a current coming off the glacier and it's pushing everything back, so we're not able to stay very idle. There's also wind and things are really shifting, so it's not a place you can kind of just hang out and be nonchalant for very long. Yeah. Shifty.
Yeah, very shifty ice in here at the moment. There's a good breeze coming off the glacier and a good bit of outflow current here as well, so everything's moving around really quite quick, including us trying to keep in position with it all. So quite a little bit stressful today, which could be the lack of sleep. Probably the lack of sleep.
As beautiful as these places are, they're also dynamic and unforgiving. With the conditions shifting, it was time to start mapping a safe path back out into open water.
Well, we're out of the ice. That was a bit demanding, to say the least. The ice was so shifty. There was all these different currents and you'd pick a path and then the ice would sort of close in right away. It was a lot of maneuvering, a lot of careful piloting. Basically, I was on the bow and I was fending them off with the gaff and then sort of pointing in the direction that looked the most clear to me, and then James would turn the boat accordingly. And just the sound they make when they hit the hull, like, it sounds so much worse than it is. It's so loud, it just like echoes through the boat. Yeah, and like, you know you're fine, you're only traveling at a knot, but it's just, you can see these sharp bits and it's pretty scary. Yeah. Any closing remarks as you leave this glacier behind?
Oh, my nerves are like they went through a cheese grater.
Oh.
They're just like... Man, there's nothing worse than the sound of like ice grating against your hull. I mean, like, admittedly, it's only going to like cosmetically damage the gel coat, which on our boat is not a huge concern because, you know, I guess everybody's seen us hold the anchor by now. But it's just the sound, and like, normally you just don't want to hit that many things in the water, ever. You know, you try so hard to avoid logs and docks and other boats, to find yourself in a situation where you're just like gritting your teeth and being like, okay, we just got to push through this ice nice and slowly, and yeah, it's, my nervous system is like shot.
Aww.
Meanwhile, you've got like bombs going off in the background as the glacier's like carving. It's like, and you're like, oh! You're like, oh!
And then the seal pops up and it's
goes,
like,
it's really, wow, what a cacophony of experiences that was. And the water looks like blood.
Yeah.
So I don't know, that might not be triggering for a lot of people, but for me, I just feel like, oh no.
You're back in the ice.
It's like, oh God, what is going on? This just all feels wrong. We were thinking of going and anchoring in a creek, but we might just like pull a long trip and go to the gunk hole. We'll see.
you need to rest easy.
I might actually need a good night's sleep.
Anyways, we are out. As long as we don't hit any of these huge bergs on the way out of here, we should be absolutely fine. That was an amazing experience. Lots of effort to get that footage. So if you like this episode, please give it a thumbs up, write us a comment, and subscribe if you're new here. We would so appreciate it. Really helps us out when you subscribe. If you'd like to help support our video productions, you can become a Patreon for as little as $3 a month. You can support the continued production of these videos, and we're stoked to have you all here. Thanks for being here, guys. Let's get out of this inlet. Just get all the feathers you can find and get in them. We have so many layers on. I think I really gotta chill up by the glacier. The wind was really cold and harsh, and we're tired, so I guess my body's over keeping warm. This is perfect. I'm like a little burrito.
Very cute.